Hello warriors, welcome to day 12 of the 2024 mission of Relationship to Self. Today I wanted to start talking a little bit about the root chakra. This is going to be a multiple part video to break it up. I've done a previous video maybe about 8 months ago on the root chakra that's very extensive in length. It will be at the end of this video if you're interested in watching it. I will put the link for that there as well as in the description below. But I'm going to break things up just a little bit because starting to have a relationship with self means our first place that we should start is definitely the base and work our way up. So the root chakra is otherwise known as the Muladhara. That's its Vedic name, which translates to foundation, because that's the foundation in which everything is built. So our relationship to self has to start at the root. The color associated with the root chakra is traditionally known as red. However, there is a secondary color that comes into play in the root chakra, and that color is black. If you think of the black earth, and the element that is associated with the root chakra is earth energy, and that black soil. So you can kind of think of yourself as everyone who's dressed their whole life in black clothing, being the emos, the goths, the heavy-duty rockers, the punk rockers. All of us have been wandering around looking for some grounding. And so in wearing black clothing, that's helping to ground our energy. So traditionally, it's known as red as the primary color associated with this root chakra. And as I've described in different videos, if you look at it like a rainbow of colors with all the different frequency of energy coming in off the rainbow, the red energy is the lowest vibrational frequency, which gets plugged into the location that is our perineum at the base of the spine there, and then the root chakra extends outward down into the earth like a spinning vortex of energy that spins outward and helps connect us and ground us into the earth. The life lesson associated with the root chakra is the material world. Again, I'm going to use the word foundation, how we ground. If you're going to build any type of structure, you need to have a strong foundation. And so they dig a foundation into the earth. We could have put a concrete base down. It depends, of course, which country you're in. So that what is built upon it is structurally sound and secure. And that is got everything to do with the life lessons that are associated with this. Is all about security and feeling safe and feeling provided for. There is a right associated with every single chakra, and the right of the root chakra is your right to be here and your right to have. So that connects in with all of your material possessions. The consciousness that is associated here as we're in this ascension process of ascending our level of consciousness, so the consciousness associated with the root chakra is that of our security center. So if you were to enter into a big building in any downtown core, the first thing that you come across is a security desk. And that security desk goes, yes, can you sign in here, please? I need to take attention to what's happening so that you're not going to go into higher areas and cause havoc. So your security center is the primary area to keep eye on the situation from the outside world and what it allows in. So there's many key mental and emotional issues that are associated with the root chakra, life lessons, so to speak, areas that we need to energetically balance. I'm going to refer to the book that I created for my own class that I used to teach on the chakra system, so bear with me. The issues here are all about your physical family, the tribal energy, the tribal consciousness, group safety and security. So not just your own individual safety and security, but the safety within the group or the tribe mind. This is our ability to provide for one's life necessities. So when we're in a state of feeling like, how am I going to provide for myself? How am I going to do this without and go out on my own and all of that, and fear and insecurity in relation to providing for self, these are all imbalances that are taking place inside of the root chakra. When the root chakra is strong and in good flow and in good energy and connected to the earth, we can sit in an energy of, I can provide for myself and do what I need to do to show up in the world and have the things that I want to have and be here in this space. This also connects to our ability to stand up for ourselves, that security center. The security guard stands up and says, no, you're not coming in here. You need to carry on. So our ability to stand up for ourselves and what's in our highest and greatest good, it's necessary to have a strong, healthy, flowing root chakra. Our feeling of being at home. When you are at home, do you feel at ease? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel secure? Do you feel safe? Do you feel protected? If these types of energies are out of balance in your environment around you as you look around, that's a very surefire indicator that the root chakra, your own root chakra, is not in balance. Our social and familial law and order. Is everything in order, and are you following the social rules? Or are those rules too tight or too lax? Those can also be indicators of an imbalance in the chakra system. We also have issues related to violence and or addictions associated with this root chakra. If we have had trauma in our childhood and grown up in these types of environments, then quite often our root chakra is very out of balance. It's one that I've been working on a lot lately to help reground myself because of my own experiences growing up. Feeling a lot of fear and terror at being raged at was very destabilizing for me. And if you were raised in an environment with alcoholism, with violence, with physical abuse, all of these types of things destabilizes the energy of the root chakra and that ability to feel safe in the world. And so we go out and we overcompensate by taking on other addictions to keep that feeling of fear and paranoia and panic at bay. Sexuality, lust, and obsession are also energies that are associated here with the root chakra that can play out. Our foundation of emotional and mental health, and so this brings in a lot of the disorders of anxiety disorder, depression, destabilized personality disorders, various mental illnesses that are generated from a family that becomes a generational thing that gets passed down from one to the next in regards to generation. Narcissism would definitely fall into this category, as well as many other types of imbalanced mental states or emotional states. So everything to do with our roots and our grounding, our nourishment, our trust in ourselves and trust in the world around us, our health, our overall health, our prosperity, and the starting of some appropriate boundaries. If you think of a tribe, oftentimes they would build a wall around them and they would be, this is our safe tribe. So this isn't personal boundaries, but this would be tribal boundaries. If you have a fence around your house that says this is our property and you can't come in here. So having some appropriate boundaries at this stage, and think about society as a whole, we have a whole bunch of boundaries. We have borders, we have fences, as I said, in regards, we have communities that are gated communities to give you a sense of greater safety and protection. So what can you do if you've been raised in an environment with a lot of trauma and you feel like your root chakra is completely and utterly out of balance? You have a lot of fear, you have a lot of anxiety, you have a lot of panic, you have a lot of paranoia even over being able to provide for yourself, to be able to feel like you're going to be able to show up in the world and have everything that you need to have, the necessities of life. On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we look at that as housing, food, have your bills paid, the basics of living. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, I have previously done a root chakra video, And I'll put the link to that because that is very extensive. It's over an hour and a half in length, I believe, and it goes really in depth to a lot of different healing practices. So I do highly recommend that you watch that video. I've also done many grounding videos as well as a grounding meditation, because the number one thing that I'm going to recommend that you do if you're feeling out of balance in this energy is find ways to ground. Please feel free to go watch the grounding video. Otherwise, some just recaps. Getting out and getting your feet, bare feet, on soil. Well, it's Canada, and for us, I don't want to put my bare feet on the snow at the present moment in time, so that's not very easily done for everyone. If it's not, do invest in grounding sheets, grounding mats, other products like that. They're very useful. Some crystals that you can get. Again, we know the colors associated with the root chakra, as I mentioned at the beginning, were red and black. So getting any red and black crystals that you're drawn to, and you can have them in your pockets, you can put them under your pillow, you can do whatever you want with them. They're an excellent way to help ground you as well. Some other means to help ground the energy is to eat foods that are made in the ground. So all your root vegetables are a fantastic resource for helping ground you. If you're not getting enough root vegetables in your diet, that's one thing that you can do to increase the energy of grounding, as well as the unpopular opinion by many people who are on the awakening path, which is to consume meat. Well, if you think of an animal, a cow, they're very heavy, so eating some red meat into your diet, especially if you're going through anything like spiritual crisis or spiritual emergency or a lot of extreme anxiety, adding some meat into your diet would actually be advisable at this stage. At a later stage, once these chakras, lower chakras, are in a state of balance, you may think about, yes, I would like to give this up, I no longer need these foods. But if you're in a state of an imbalanced root chakra, eating some meat to help ground you is actually advisable. Yin yoga. Yin yoga is primarily done on the ground. You're not standing up and stretching. You're physically on the ground. I love to do wall yoga. I have done a practice of wall yoga routine that's available in my playlist, Practices with B. I incorporate a little bit of movement with that and a little bit of touch because we want to reconnect with our body. Our body is what we need to be grounded. Oftentimes you'll find if you're ungrounded, you'll be carrying a lot of excess weight. I certainly was. I'll get into more physical manifestations of disharmony in part 2 of this video, but for now, let's think of ways to get back into the earth. So get on your back or get on the ground, and doing some yin stretching is very beneficial at this moment in time to help ground your energy. The second, in regards to exercise, always if you have the option to get out and do some walking in and around trees, that's awesome, because you can, trees are well grounded. You sit in the energy of trees, it will help assist you in grounding some of your energy. Again, the weather right now is not the best for that where I'm at, but that doesn't mean it's not the best where you are. I'm going to also recommend, number 4 is doing a chakra balancing breath work, and I'm going to put the link for that in the description below. I've recently been doing this one particular series of chakra opening breath work, and I find it to be a very grounding practice because it does, you don't even need to do the full practice if you don't want, just do the first 3 chakras. It's a 55-minute routine of breath work that's guided by 2 lovely people, and it's available free here on YouTube. So I highly recommend that you give that a try. Even doing, just as I said, the first 3 chakras will help bring the energy and focus your energy into those areas to stimulate, because if your root chakra is depleted in energy, we need to stimulate a little bit of energy there, as well as the bottom 3 are the best ones to stimulate, so there's greater amount of energy where there is a depletion. And then finally, if you find yourself in an extreme amount of panic, an extreme amount of anxiety, an extreme amount of depression, there are also here free on YouTube 8 hour-long affirmations. There's one to feel safe that I know, and one to help decrease the amount of fear and anxiety that you have, and I'm going to put both of those links in the description below so it's easily accessed for you to come and go and do those, and play them during the day, play them while you sleep, play them while you're working, so that you're getting a constant stream of reprogramming so that you can begin to feel in a mental state of, yes, I am safe. I can provide for myself. I am grounded. Those, if you want to just write them down as 3 affirmations or 3 mantras that you can bring with you and put in your pocket or print out and put on your fridge, those are excellent ways to start producing healing in the root chakra. So I'm going to continue working and focusing on the root chakra because I think the #1 necessary thing at the present moment in time, as people are starting to wake up and moving through their spiritual awakening, is to learn how to ground. I think that developing a healthy root chakra is the foundation and the fundamentals for all spiritual work. And I would love to hear your comments below. Have any questions in regards to the root chakra, please feel free so that I can address them in the next couple of videos that I'm going to do. I also want to say thank you so much for all the likes, the shares, and the viewing hours that I get. It really helps my channel. Right now, I'm really trying to accumulate greater amounts of viewing hours so that I can meet the markers that I have to meet. So every video that you watch is of great help to me, and I thank you very, very much for that. If you need some help in helping balance and address some of the issues that have to deal with the root chakra, feel free to send me an email. The way to do that is in the description below, and we can set up a one-on-one Zoom call to start talking about your root chakra and some of the issues that have kept you in a state of feeling out of balance. That said, have a super awesome day. Peace out.